Welcome back to District Talk. I'm your host, Chad McLaughlin with District Home Loans. And this week, welcome back, Joel Ventura.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad, for having me again.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate you stopping by. And
I just love sitting next to you talking about real estate.
Well, and that being said, last time you were here, we talked about real estate. We talked about having a career in real estate and the benefits of having a career in real estate.
Yes.
I know we touched on the pride that it gives us, helping somebody get into a home. We had also chatted a little bit about the flexibility that we have from a both personal and professional standpoint. We have flexibility with making schedules and things of that nature. We're able to attend our kids' events, and then also at the same time then turn around and be able to do something for work related, right?
Correct.
And then, of course, there's a reward financially that we get out of having a career in real estate. But one of the things that we touched on were the relationships that we get out of having a career in real estate. We have relationships with so many different types of folks.
Correct.
I'm a loan officer. Obviously, I deal with a lot of realtors and
different professionals.
Yeah, exactly. Other real estate professionals, not just other loan officers, but other real estate professionals. And we were able to build these great relationships. And I think I even said in my last podcast, some of my best friends are in real estate. Yeah. I met them.
And you met them through networking.
Through networking, exactly. Yeah. And networking is what I thought we would have you come back and chat about today.
Yeah, let's chat about networking. It's such a small word, but it entails so much behind it.
Yeah.
Essentially, it is a really, really good practice, especially in real estate. I have undervaluated the importance of it.
Yeah.
But, through due time, you feel more comfortable in practicing and developing those networking skills.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's more about getting to know a future business partner. Mm-hmm. And not only a business partner, but a friend. Mm-hmm. It could turn into a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said you have one of your best friends.
Yeah, my gosh, yeah. So like I said, I've been able to not just establish working relationships, but both a personal relationship, with some of the folks that I've worked with in the past and continue to work with, and it feels great because you know that you're now both looking out for one another.
Correct.
Right? You've earned their respect. Obviously, they've earned my respect for them, and I think it's one of those things that from a career, it's enlightening to be able to come to work,
correct,
and have these kind of relationships that you enjoy having.
I want to put you on the spot, Chat.
Okay.
I want to put you on the spot. I know you're in the spot right now, but I want to put you on the spot.
Okay. All right.
I want you to envision yourself. You're going to a business mixer. Let's put it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
And let's do this practice. What kind of practice do you go through mentally before going to an event? Business event.
Before going into it. For networking purposes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Like mentally,
so
how do you prepare? We just went to the Rockville Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce.
So the chamber, yeah. So first would probably be taking a shot of some type of liquor.
Mm-hmm. Alcohol, it could be your friend, but it could be your enemy too.
There's a lot of alcohol in this industry.
Yeah.
No, just joking. No, but I mean, as far as what goes through my mind, as far as mentally preparing, is you do have to mentally prepare for engaging with other folks.
Yeah, because we as human beings, we like to be likable, right?
Of course,
we want to be likable. We want to be accepted. We like to move in herds and in the community. Mm-hmm. So you mentalize yourself prior to going to those events, right?
Yeah.
You condition. Okay, you go about connections. Let's make connections.
Right.
For me, it's more about I want to get to know at least one interesting thing about this other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the other person is passionate about. And, besides being in real estate, you also we also running a business,
Right.
right? And you just don't want to partner up with anybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's my position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you also have to be open though, because you never know
Yeah.
who may be able to provide you additional business down the road.
Correct.
Now,
and it's like, how can I say this? It's like a business mixer. It's kind of like a dating. Like a quick, what is it? Like a quick dating. What is it?
Speed dating.
Speed dating.
Speed dating.
That's the thing. Speed dating. Because you want to talk to everybody,
right?
And you want to know what they're about,
right?
But you also don't want to just cut it short. But you also want to be meaningful.
Yep.
So those events, let's say that let's take for example the Rockville one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I only talked to 3 people, but I made connections with 1.
Yeah.
Really meaningful. And I feel like if you go to these events, networking, and you connect meaningfully with one person,
mm-hmm.
and if you discover that they are passionate about helping others or helping the community, or passionate about providing a service, either it could be inspection, it could be either insurance or cleaning or painting or IT, I feel like if you're passionate about what you do, we're there.
Yeah,
we could take it to another level, combining
forces.
forces.
Connect with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before I go to a mixer, I essentially ask myself, how can I make connections and know what they're about? At least one interested thing.
Yeah. Well, that comes down to, like, for me, it's hard to talk about yourself, right? So you kind of rely on, have you heard of the 10-1 rule? Where
10-1 rule.
Like, where you basically say, 10 questions about, yourself. If we're meeting, right? I want to get to know you. We want to strike up a conversation.
Okay.
The 10-1 rule is basically put 10 questions on the folks, the person that you meet.
Okay.
Maybe then interject with one thing about yourself, right? So then you're just kind of like engaging, and you're trying to learn about those other folks, and it makes it more comfortable, really, because then you have the other person talking about themselves, right?
That's true. That's true. I mean, I feel like those networking events, their mission is also to get to know you.
Right.
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 But as a whole, what is networking?
Mm-hmm.
What is that gonna bring to your table in your business?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, any business, it's about who you know to a degree, right? And I feel that I'm in those networking events. I want to make it meaningful, right? But the questions, how many questions is enough? Let's say you have 3 hours.
Sure, you could keep going. I mean, you can go all night if you want.
Right? So, but let's say you have 3 hours and there's 200 folks in this space. Mm-hmm. We know that it's about the networking atmosphere of the event. It's not just passing a business card.
Right.
Right. You also getting to know the other person, whether that person is going to be a good match for you to conduct business with.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I try to keep it between 10 to 15 minutes, 30 minutes if the conversation is very interesting.
Yeah.
But as a whole, also, you have to maintain kind of like a perspective, right? And follow up. Oh my gosh, I'm very faulty about it because I forgot to follow up so many times.
Just shoot a text or an email.
I know. So shoot a text or an email. That would be great.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you also have to like maintain the relationship. You're starting to build a relationship through those meetings, but then you have to follow up and making sure that the relationship's still going.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, and you have to make sure they understand why a relationship between the two of you can benefit, right?
It will be fruitful.
Why what you're going to bring to the table. Obviously, it might be a particular product that you're offering, or whatever it may be that they don't have access to currently.
For those folks who are listening to us or watching us,
mm-hmm.
what would be advice to them that you think it would be beneficial prior to going to those networking events or networking as a whole?
So the biggest thing that look, I've been doing this for a year now, so I'm still pretty green to the whole networking thing. So my last job, like we talked about before, came from corporate. Yeah. I was essentially fed business. So the networking really wasn't something that I had to do, right? Gotcha. Because, when you work for a new home builder, you're essentially being fed.
So you're the perfect person to be asked this question.
Yeah. So one thing I would say right off the bat as a new loan officer or just new in the real estate industry is everybody's there for a reason, and not to be discouraged, because I've gone to events where 2 people showed up. And then I've been to events where 30, 35 people have shown up. And it's like those events, those smaller events, even though only 2 people showed up, that was just more time for me to get to know the other folks that were there.
Yeah.
And it became it was actually, I think I enjoyed the smaller events more so than what
it's more genuine and connect.
I had much more time to connect with them, and it got much more personal on a personal level. Okay. Was able to secure a realtor out of at least the event that I'm talking about.
Nice.
Was able to secure a relationship with a realtor out of that event. So I would say, like, don't be discouraged. And just know that you're walking into an event, a networking event that everybody else is walking into with the same or similar goal, right? So don't be discouraged. Don't be nervous.
I mean, the nervous factor is still gonna be there.
It's there
until the first tequila kick in.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you take a shot or two before you walk in the door.
Yeah, but I understand.
No, but like, but that is, it's one thing to, it's just keep in mind that everybody they're in the same boat. They're there for a reason.
True.
They're there to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
So you may have some people that just like to show up to these events, just show up.
I've seen a few.
Yeah. And they're usually regulars.
Yes.
So and you see them like quite often at the same, at the same events and at the same type of events. But for the most part, though, you're walking into something that everybody else is going into with a similar goal that you are, right? And that is to develop relationships, and hopefully, out of developing a relationship, get some kind of business out of.
Mutually, it's a two-way street, right? Because if I'm sending you a deal, I expect for you to close the deal.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't close it as a LO, guess who's not eating?
Right.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Right.
So I'm entrusting you, but back to the networking.
Okay.
Back to networking. Prior to the networking event, I mentalized myself. One advice that I can give you, if networking it's not your thing, because it wasn't my thing in the beginning. Yeah. I was in the back end. I was just administrative. Yeah. And little by little, I was more thrown into the networking events. Mm-hmm. So I mentalized myself. It's like I tried to be likable, but not because I wanted to. It's because that's who I am. But some people might see it as unauthentic. But this is just me being who I am. This is who I am. So just be authentic.
So when you say
who you are.
Be authentic for sure. Like don't go in because
don't force it.
Don't force it. Yeah.
Because you people sense that.
Yeah.
That. There's this event. It was about 7 years ago. It was prior the pandemic. I went through it and it's like, Joel, you sound too nice. Are you forcing it? I'm like, no, this is just me. So now I try to be not that nice, but at the end of the day, just be authentic.
But you come off as nice though. You're very genuine in nature. I think that's
people who knows me.
But
people who don't know me, there might be like, this guy is faking it.
Oh, yeah.
And we were in that event at the point in time in which the alcohol has started kicking, and I still remember like as if it happened yesterday because of them saying, I was like, man, am I being too nice to this person? Or, but that's just who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know what? And if you did come off as disingenuous to the other person, and they were turned off by something about you, most likely they probably weren't going to be somebody that you were going to work with to begin with.
And that's the thing.
Right?
These events, it's about exposing your business.
Right.
I'm no golden coin. I'm no golden coin that everybody likes a golden coin, right? But at the end of the day, you also have to be authentic to yourself. Mm-hmm. So don't be discouraged. Be authentic. Mm-hmm. And for me, try to build meaningful relationships.
Yeah. And just know that, like, you're going to have to do a lot of these types of events.
Correct.
It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, and you just never know who. For instance, one of the events that I went to, I met a loan officer at.
Okay.
And typically you would say, like, it's a loan officer. I'm a loan officer. I don't. One
of my good partners.
It's like my competition.
One of my good
this
partners.
Is my competition,
it's
right?
a loan officer.
Yeah.
She works in a different company.
Right.
The deals that I can't close because I know they have these products, I'll send it their way.
Exactly.
And whatever
that's
she
exactly
can't close, she send it my way.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Yeah. So, and he, sure enough, had somebody that was I-10. He works for just a traditional local bank, and they don't do I-10s, they don't do any kind of hard money, they don't do any of that kind of stuff. Where like I got a deal out of him with an I-10 prospect that he wasn't able to do.
So there you go.
So yeah, so you just never know, who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet them. You don't want to disregard. Yeah. I mean, be open. If you're, as a loan officer, like, you think like, oh, I gotta go in there. I gotta meet all these realtors. Like realtors that's my bread and butter.
I mean,
and then like, wait a minute. Well, no, I can get some business out of it, just meeting other folks. I can get some business out of a home inspector, out of the mover, out of the loan officer, that doesn't offer what we offer, and vice versa, So just be open when you're going into these types of events.
So I'll say top 5 advice.
Okay.
That you give a beginner in any business for networking purposes. What would those be?
Top 5.
I can help too. I can chime in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So top 5 advice for networking. Obviously be open. Be open to meeting anybody.
Open-minded.
Open-minded. Yeah.
Okay.
And know that you're networking all the time. So it's not just events that you're going to.
That's true.
Right? So anytime you go to a kid's birthday party, your
cookout,
right? Exactly. Yeah. I went to a friend's event a couple of weekends ago, and we were talking about doing some HELOC options and things of that nature. He's like, "Wait a minute, are you trying to sell me?"
I'm just trying to educate you.
I'm trying to, but yes,
informative conversation. But if you want my business card, here you go.
Exactly. So just know that networking is not just like going to some chamber of commerce event or some that may be specifically designed to network at. Yeah. Networking can just be in general, like it can be like a family or a friend or what we call your sphere of influence, right? So just be open-minded to that would be
so open-minded. I'll chime in. Authenticity, just be you.
Authentic, yeah, for sure.
I'll just be you.
Yeah.
And of course, don't be discouraged. Just have to keep on. How can I put this in words? Just be motivated, or don't be discouraged. How would you frame that?
I would say don't be discouraged. Okay. I mean, you're going to walk into a lot of events, like we mentioned earlier, that may be overwhelmed. You may be overwhelmed with the amount of people that are there. And if you talk to 3 or 4 or 5 people, that's great. You know, you don't have to meet and talk to every single person. And then on the flip side, you may walk into an event where you may have 2 people show up.
That's true.
You know, it's just the nature of our business. You know, we have a lot of different activities that we do, whether it's CE courses and networking events and appreciation events and all kinds of stuff that we try to put on. And sometimes people show up, sometimes they don't.
That's true.
And when you have those times that people don't show up, and you may have 1 or 2, hey, take advantage of it. Sit down. If it's having a drink or getting a bite to eat or whatever it is, just make the most out of it and enjoy yourself.
So, 1, open-minded, authentic, don't be discouraged.
Yeah.
Fourth
is be consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah. I'd say you need to you need to be open-minded to maybe I'm thinking from a schedule standpoint. I know I seek out events, right? So maybe it's 1 or 2 a month that I try to make sure that I get to, or if I'm not getting to it, then I'm holding it, right? So we had an investor mixer, something like that.
Yeah, that went well, by the way.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I generally connected with different perspective.
Right.
Different perspectives.
So if you're not going to the events, then consider holding the event.
Correct.
So just be disciplined in that respect. That,
So
just
consistency, be consistent.
Right.
I'll add to the mix number 5th.
Okay.
I feel that in any type of event, you should generally connect and find at least one trait about that other person that interests you personally.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the first time I met you,
okay,
I wanted to know what is he passionate about. What is he passionate about? And you were eager to learn.
Yeah.
You were so eager to learn that because at one point I was in that position. I didn't know what the brokerage life was.
Right.
I didn't know what is to do a transaction with a lender in California or with a lender in Michigan or a lender in Texas. So I genuinely identify with you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, got potential.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. No, and if
I agree. You gotta find somebody that something that interests you, something in the other person that interests you.
Correct. And if you click at the business level, everything else will fall into place. Also, vice versa. If at a personal level, in the business, it could be a smooth transaction for both ways.
Yeah.
And building trust, right?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
So I guess we nailed those. So
that was 5 that we named off pretty quick. I'm sure there's even more that we could keep going into.
But here's the thing, though. This is the mentality when you go into the networking event, right? You have to be constantly thinking also about you might get rejections.
Yeah.
If you get those rejections, how you gonna act? What if you get rejected by the other person? What if you're rejecting the other person? Because you never know. Humans, they have this tendency to be like atoms. One day we're here, and another day we're there.
Yeah.
In another different position, right?
Well, and I think too in our business, people are pretty straightforward, and if they already have their guy, I already have my loan officer.
Okay.
I already have my insurance agent that I work with. I already have my title and settlement agents that I work with. That's going to happen. You're going to meet people that already have, and they're not open, and just brush it off and just move on.
So what if we're having a conversation, right?
Okay.
And you're Xing me out.
Okay.
Right? I'm putting you on the spot again, Chad. It's the second time now.
Who's the host here? What's going on?
I know. What would you do?
Okay.
In a scenario in which you're like, ew, no, I don't want to deal with Joel anymore. I don't like him. But mentally, you're like in those events.
So meaning Like I'm not interested in
Like,
what you
there's
have to
no-
offer.
Yeah, we're talking,
Or
right?
vice versa.
Yeah, that you're not interested in me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we just chatted like for like 3 minutes. What's your exit strategy?
Exit strategy is my glass is empty. I'm gonna go get another drink.
I love it. But
No, and then find somebody else to talk to.
Okay. So
No, I don't know. I think it comes naturally, though. I think
Okay.
when, like I said, you have an idea when you meet somebody.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that you are going to connect with, or you're not going to connect with,
I'll tell you my exit strategy.
Okay. All right.
I would essentially look in your eyes and say, listen, you're interested in finding a realtor, right? What interested? What kind of specific? What area? What realtor? Maryland, Virginia, and DC. Okay, tell you what, I will go around. If I find the right guy, I'll send it your way.
Okay.
I'll send it your way.
So,
Or-
like, in other words, you're basically saying, like,
I'll send you
I'm
your-
not really interested, but if I find somebody else that is,
Send your
that
way.
would be, yeah.
Or let's say you're like, oh, I'm interested in finding IT solutions for my business.
Right.
And I'll come to you and say, "Hey, I'll introduce you to Mr. Anders,
Yeah.
and I'll introduce you to him, and then let you mingle."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like I can't
That's
just say.
kinda, I mean, yeah. I mean, you have a hard time just saying, like, you
yes.
have a hard time moving
Yes.
on. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to feel like you're, like,
I'm probably
gonna-
trying to facilitate something or what you're there.
Yeah.
So while me facilitating you the right path to the person that you're looking for,
Yeah.
I'm like stepping down.
Yeah. I don't know that that's necessary.
I know. I think I'm a little overdoing it,
But it's very nice of you, though.
Yeah.
It's very nice of
I
you
wanted
to
to
do
know your
that.
perspective, though.
My perspective would just be, okay, this is probably not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to move on.
Okay.
But it also depends on the type of event that you're at.
That's
and where
true.
if you're at an event where there's 30, 35 people, then yeah, you might want to just kind of, cut ties and move on and see who else you can, you have the
Introduce to
opportunity
each
to
other.
meet. Yeah. And if you can, yeah, of course. I mean, like I said before, everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's there to network and to develop relationships and to get more business. Right.
Yeah.
So by all means, if it's going to help you, and if you feel so inclined to introduce somebody that maybe not be beneficial to you, but you met somebody earlier that
I can send it your way.
and you can, yeah. So, again, that's kind of the whole point of networking, right?
That's
So,
true. It's like,
it's
I
kind
will
of the whole point of
network
networking.
my way out.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I'm also trying to assist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that networking, it's such a wonderful practice that not a lot of folks do it.
Yeah.
And it will elevate your career path in any business
Yeah.
to different levels.
What would you say would be? What has been a good networking event that you've attended?
The mixer that we had.
The mixer.
The mixer.
The
just,
investor
just,
mixer.
just the investor mixer.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
I connected deeply through the roots of the group.
Okay.
Okay. Why? Because they all were business driven,
Yeah.
right? Uplifting the community. They wanted to fix
Yeah,
properties.
they were very, yeah.
When it uplifted
Yeah.
and about teaching and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So
So probably for our folks listening, the investor mixer was a mixer that we had for
yeah, Chat conducted it. He put it all together. He put it all together. He did it.
Well, it was a co-sponsored event between us as District Home Loans and District Pro Realty, where we had loan officers and realtors. Basically, we put realtors and loan officers in the same room as a bunch of investors.
Yeah.
And we were basically just, kind of, it wasn't a mixer. It was just
you were the facilitator. We were the platform.
Yeah.
And everybody mingle.
and everybody just sort of mingled. And if there was help to be had, then I'm sure like you would meet folks and whether it was your realtor hat or your loan officer hat.
I loved the fact that our realtors got a glimpse of the investor world.
Yeah.
You know, because investors, to a degree, the margins speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you understand their numbers and they understand, and if you understand their angle, then you're gonna provide better service to them.
Yeah.
And it's volume too.
Yeah,
And
volume
also-
for sure.
And the teaching part, I'm all about teaching. So, and they were not only willing to just share the knowledge that they had, but they also were willing to coach the way up to the investor world.
Yeah, that was a great group. That was a great group that we had, and it was a nice turnout. Any other
Within the past quarter,
yeah,
or as a whole?
or just as a whole, like one that you let's say one that you benefited from. Like what was a time that you had that you got some success out of, whether it was a sale or a client or just a relationship in general.
Like, let me just think a little. But prior to the pandemic,
Okay.
there was this organization hosting an event. It's called NAREP.
Yes. Yeah.
NAREP,
Yep.
National.
Mm-hmm.
So they very much introduced me to the idea of relationship driven networking. Not only for the sake of getting business, but also to uplifting the community
Yeah.
at different levels. Levels. So that puts my job in perspective. That put my job in perspective in real estate. Because in real estate, we are financial advisors, we are facilitators of the transaction, we are pretty much coaches, and to a degree, we are assisting our community to build generational wealth.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
well, that's a big thing for NAREP too. NAREP is one of their biggest, I think, goals is to promote generational wealth in the community, in the Hispanic community.
Yeah, and so long story short, a network event, it wasn't more of the fact that I benefited because I met X, Y, and Z person. No, I benefited because I learned. It put my career in a huge different perspective that I never thought of. Mm-hmm. So I went in to get more business, and I came out with a mission. But it was novel. It was very novel, and I feel like networking events or networking as a whole, it could be also empowerment to your mission in life or career. Mm-hmm. So from that point on, I feel like networking for me would be trying to build meaningful relationships.
Great. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
One of my first networking events was NAREP, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
We had that in common.
So I had it was a NAREP convention, I believe that
we went together on that one.
Yeah.
Really, that was one of your first.
That was my first.
Right,
that was one
really
of my first
nice.
networking events.
Really nice. I was conducting a social experiment on that one.
Is that right?
Yeah. I was.
That's right. I remember that. Now that you say that, because I remember holding I was like,
you were helping me. So, because in all these events, everybody is just focusing. Okay, let's talk to this, let's talk to that, or let me just go to this seminar because they have a lot of seminars in there. The national NAREP. Oh my gosh, they go all out.
Yeah,
they go all out. So I felt like I wanted to introduce some of my spice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
So just to know that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like just going around and like talking to people. You were just asking random questions.
Yeah, just random questions. I think one of the questions was, what was if you didn't know, you don't know me or that, but would you exchange certain informations to us in terms of like how you make me grow my business. So people were willing to just to give you the information.
Yeah.
So long story short, it's like, okay, you're already at the event. People are willing. You just have to ask the questions.
Yeah. It was. I remember that was just amazing to me because people were just giving out information that you asked for, and they're like,
No.
"Yeah, we're all here to help one
I think
another."
I got one rejection because that guy was just running to a seminar.
Well, he was saying,
Yeah,
So-
but it is really wonderful when you're like driven, not only just because you want to get business, but you also want to teach people.
right?
I think those are the successful events.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So,
So, what would you say to somebody getting started in real estate? Like, what would be their first step to networking?
first step to networking, find
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, so
Okay.
find a Facebook group. No, I'm kidding. There's different organizations that you could be part of.
Okay. Yeah.
In real estate. You're part of the alliance.
Part of the alliance, yeah, the
you're part-
LGBTQ alliance group.
Yeah, you're part of the
which
alliance.
is amazing. Yeah.
For me, it was more about the local narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So find an organization, and from that point, you can just meet one person, have a meaningful relationship with them, or even book clubs,
Mm-hmm.
or even there was this one time we were with my brother at a yard sale, bonding over video games with one of the
Yeah.
clients. That ended up being my client.
Wow.
So you never know, right?
You just never know,
You just
right?
never know.
Right.
So find a group of interests
Okay.
and then connect.
Well, and that's kind of looking at your, I know this is cliche, but your sphere of influence, right? You know, you got the sphere of influence. You have, if you're a church going person, you know, you got your church that you go.
Yeah.
You know, if you
I got
are
a few clients from
involved
my
in-
church.
Yeah. I mean, if you're involved in sports, if you are, you know, it's just, you know, you have different hobbies or whatever it may be, that maybe groups that you're a part of. If you're, you know, if you're into, you know, the American Legions and
you
all
go.
those organizations, you know,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of different things that you can go about networking that aren't your typical, like, you know, real estate related networking. You know,
Correct. I was just talking to one of my realtors the other day, and it's like, hey, car meet. You like cars?
yeah, yeah.
You can go to your car meet
Mm-hmm.
and show off your Corvette
Mm-hmm.
and talk, put your business out there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then you're enjoying
What if you went to like a Comic Con? Like go to Comic Con
pretty
and
neat.
like just dress in like
Comic Con, yeah. I think in DC they have it, right?
yeah.
It's,
They just had a
um,
big one in Pittsburgh, apparently.
Which is your favorite comic?
Well, I mean, I like Marvel.
Marvel?
But I like probably Marvel, but Batman would be my favorite. Probably.
My goodness
superhero.
gracious, no, Chad, you're just teasing me now. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
So I'm a DC.
Yeah, because Batman got me. I think there's a soft spot there because that's what got me into comics.
Oh, nice.
I remember going to the 1989 Batman movie. It was one of the first movies I got to go with
Is that George
on my
Clooney?
own by myself.
Is that George Clooney?
No. 1989 is Michael Keaton
Michael Keaton,
with
okay.
Jack Nicholson, like the original.
Okay.
You know, like, well, not the original, but the original of those 4 movies that came out. And I remember going to see that movie and just like, I don't know.
And from that took off.
That just took off from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So-
Batman for me, it's more like that vigilante, right?
Yeah.
They always wear black.
Right. So anyway,
Going back to networking.
So back
Joel.
to networking. No, but that's like the, you know, but yeah, you never know where you're going to meet people.
Yeah.
That you can, whether you're an agent, whether you are a loan officer, whether you are a title or a settlement rep or
Sure.
whatever, whoever you are in real estate, you never know where you're going to meet folks. So do you think there's any trends in networking? Do you think there's anything, like you said, like Facebook, like online social media stuff?
Social media, it's a powerful tool if you know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't abuse it though, because it gets addicted. That
Sure.
dopamine rush.
Yeah.
But there are different groups in social media. Facebook has one of them. I know for the newer generation, they're more about the Instagram
Yeah.
or TikTok.
The Instagram, the TikTok.
Yeah, I still loyal. I'm still loyal to my Facebook. But I am in all those platforms as well.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like Facebook, there have different groups
Yeah.
that you can network to.
Yeah. Would you say? I mean, you would not. I mean, I'm asking you this, and but I probably know the answer. But would you say that just throwing out a reel or a video,
From time to time,
is a form of networking?
It is a form of
Because you're putting yourself out there and you're opening yourself up to conversation.
You know what? I've never seen it as a form of networking. I've seen it more of a form of a marketing tool. But
true, yeah.
But what's networking?
Right, engaging with other folks.
And what's marketing?
Right, yeah.
You're trying to engage with other folks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like marketing and networking goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's like the Batman and Robin.
Exactly. Yeah. So are you? So you're more of a Facebook fan than. But you're on Instagram.
I'm on everything. I'm on everything.
TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
I see your TikTok videos.
Yeah, I'm on everything. And you have success in one platform over than another. But essentially, what is success, right? It's a little bit of everything combined.
Yeah. So. Have you had anybody reach out to you from social media?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
Yes. Actually, I just did recently an open house. And I got 3 clients out of it.
No, from that TikTok video I saw?
For the TikTok video, I got 1.
Okay.
And then I got another one in Facebook.
Yeah.
And then in that event, in the open house, there's a potential client. So you just never know,
You don't know. You never know. Like, again, it goes back to, you could walk into a room of 30 to 50 people.
And can I tell you a story?
Or you could walk into a room of 3 people.
Can I tell you a quick, kind of like ironic story?
Sure.
The lady who reached out to me in TikTok.
Okay.
She had my phone number.
Okay.
Already by somebody else. I don't know. This is spooky though. This is spooky for me because that means the algorithm in TikTok was referring to everybody in my contacts.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
To watch this video.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. That's you never know with social media. They're listening to us.
Yeah. That's right though. You never know who is going to view a post or a reel or a video that you post.
Yeah.
It's certainly something to be mindful of and be open to as far as building a career out of real estate.
And essentially, networking, you're trying to network with people you like too, right? Common interests. And you want to conduct business with people that you like and to conduct business because you want to be a happy person, right? Throughout the transaction. Because, buying a home or any type of business, this is to a degree has its stress levels. Mm-hmm. And if you dealing and coping with the stress with somebody that you like doing business with.
Right, exactly. That goes back to having that relationship, as part of it. That's, again, one of the benefits of your real estate career is that you get to have these relationships with people that you like.
True.
And if you don't like them, there's probably a good chance that you're probably not going to work with them a whole lot.
Correct. Correct.
Whether it's just you're not compatible or you're not seeking their business,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. 1,000%. But at the end of the day, you should have to move forward with, your drive, and just like you said, keep it consistent.
You got to keep it consistent. Yeah. Anything that you do in this industry, you have to be consistent with, whether it's marketing, yourself, advertising, networking. You have to be consistent with, even down to the basics of learning and being flexible and being adaptable. You have to be always evolving and changing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%, Chad.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
Are we on the agenda?
We are on the agenda, yeah. And
I feel like we talk about Batman and Robin, and
we are on topic. I mean, like that's that. I mean, like we've touched on, we've touched on the 5 reasons to network. And we talked a little bit about some of the successes that we've seen in networking.
Yeah.
We've talked about how to go about networking and where to start in networking, and some of the trends that we've seen in networking as far as, whether it's events or social media or different types of digital platforms.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you...
No, I mean, if you guys who are watching us, essentially, if you have any questions about networking, ask him. He's the expert.
I don't know about that.
Hey, I mean, you experienced it firsthand.
I did, yeah. So this last year has been very much just like learning and really kind of learning how to network.
Yeah.
And
it's not like exact science.
There's no
like 1 + 1, it's equals 2. It's like I try radio, I try networking face to face, seminars, webinars, Zoom. I even actually did a TikTok video and sent it to one of potential clients, and that person ended up working with me.
Yeah,
because of the TikTok video.
Wow. Yeah.
And I just did it personally and sent it to that person, period. So people go to the length of writing books, right? So it's up to what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's not a rocket. It's not a specific science.
Yeah, obviously you want to be comfortable. You want to be in a comfortable environment. If you are, say, not a drinker, you probably don't want to be in an environment where there's alcohol involved.
Or like a lot of happy hours.
Or where vice versa, if you are and you're into happy hours and things of that nature. But there are certain things that you can get into. Like there's lots of different coffee groups that you can go to.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. If you're into happy hours, you can go to happy hours. There's organizations like we just talked about, like NAREP and the Alliance, and there's so many different types of organizations that you can get into. And then of course, just for our agents out there, there are many different realtor associations that you can become involved in.
That's true. Just be involved in the community.
Yeah, and be involved in the community. That's one thing we didn't even touch on, is the networking from the aspect of volunteering. I mean,
one of our colleagues, Sonia, she's a great volunteer. She got a lot of business from there too.
Yeah.
I think you were part of it once.
I was, yeah. We did Habitat for Humanity.
Oh,
and that was
God.
Amazing. That was such an amazing day. Yeah, that was a great day.
You did a hole.
I dug a hole. I dug a 3 foot, which you would not think is a lot, but it's a lot.
Yeah, you get a workout done.
But there's lots of different volunteer aspects that you can, obviously you're doing something for the community, but at the same time you're putting yourself out there, you're networking, you're branding yourself.
True.
There's a lot of benefits to the volunteer aspect of our career as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we touched on a lot of aspects in networking.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have more questions there for me. It's awesome though. Networking. It's a beautiful, beautiful aspect of the business that you're able to meet so many people.
Yeah.
I met the senator who's running for Maryland. Yeah. And essentially, it's like you meet so many people.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. But that's the beauty about networking too, being involved with the community. So realistically speaking, you have to network. It's a must.
Right. Networking is something that you definitely have to plan for as part of your career in real estate. So whether you're seeking out events or you're holding your own events, you need to keep it consistent. All right, folks. Well, we've talked about the 5 things that as far as advice goes, that we would offer up to our folks looking to get into real estate and networking in real estate. We've also talked about some of the trends in networking, whether it's social media or some of the digital platforms that are out there. And then, of course, just like what we can suggest to somebody that's getting into the business, right? So Joel, I thank you for coming by our podcast again for this week.
Thank you so much to you, Chad, and to everybody who it's been listening to us. I strongly appreciate it, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Invite me more often.
All right, folks. Well, again, thank you for taking the time to listen to us this week. If you can, like and subscribe to our podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Are we going to
Cheers. Yeah, we got cheers. Cheers.